something else that made
Possums.
monstrous sounds.
Possums, that's right. There was either
Possums.
deer or possums, I believe, was the two theories thrown out.
I hope it's deer.
You're riding possums.
Possums. Or possums riding other possums. Riding
Explains unnatural sounds.
The only thing that sort of that may have been missing from that is as you were leaving the church, you could hear. Obviously, Harry was very bummed out about the lack of fireworks for his party. He was very excited about the party, and when he heard about the fireworks, very excited about the fireworks. But as you were leaving the church, you could hear him sort of talking about, maybe since there's no fireworks, maybe we can do like magic this time.
He can't.
Just for this once, you can celebrate Aristel's power for me using.
We're gonna come
magic.
back and he'll be like crucified. He'll be nailed to a fence or something.
Meat of the day.
Mutton.
Delicious. The Kalderra meat of the day. That's perfect. And so you guys have decided to help Edric townsmen in the city of village of Kalderra out by finding what these creatures are that are on the outskirts, and that could mean tonight things will be
getting dicey.
Sun, maybe.
Why does the record of dice rolls and stuff in Roll20 have something about lobster wrestling?
So I was just making. First of all of that should have been whispered, and I don't know why it wasn't. But I was creating a full character sheet for Barris if he was going to be used today, and you can roll for like backstory. And I was just like flicking through different backstory stuff, and that was the thing that rolled. And I'm like, no, that is definitely not his backstory. So
Lobster wrestler.
yeah.
Definitely is.
Wow.
That's a euphemism for something. Before we get started, hello to Razornock. Thanks for joining us. First time chat. We're about to get started. I think we're ready to go. Let's get some Kalderra sounds going.
Barris also volunteered his services on the next escapade. And he
Yeah.
had a chainsaw and a shotgun, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
Wow.
He
I don't
had
remember.
like a chainsaw arm,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
Yeah. And he has to do that one-handed Terminator 2 style reloading.
Yes.
Is the sound going? Oh yeah, there they are. So you leave the church and you head towards the direction that you'd left out to go to the cave to rescue the boyfriend before. And standing there is Barris. He's waiting on the outskirts of town, and he's dressed in what seems to be some dated gear of his, where it looks like
flares.
It's got flares,
got a big collar.
tassels. It's got like cowboy style tassels. But he's wearing like leather armor that seems to be like a size too small for him now, that he's kind of squeezed himself into. And he's got
spread.
So, yeah, and he's brandishing the warhammer that you'd seen down at his at the Smith store. He's sort of got it over the back of his broad shoulders as he sees you guys approaching and waves out.
Hello.
Do I have
All right.
Barris!
I hope it's all right if I join you for this. It's the least I can do for what happened.
Wait, what happened?
You know how he chickened out. You know how I chickened out when you went into the cave.
Oh, no, I forgot already. Don't you?
Clearly.
You didn't miss anything.
Well, we nearly died, but we didn't.
I've heard this
story?
one. Yeah, I've heard this one a few times. Actually,
I don't know if I've heard this.
Let me fill you in.
The sun goes down.
I like I like the idea that like Lovejoy's starting that story again, but Barris is completely ignoring him and sort of looks at Biko and says, "I've got something for you. I've got something for you. Remember when you lifted my large work in progress hammer? And I said that you'd get a little something for this. And he pulls from his hip just this beautifully crafted dagger.
Oh,
Just it's amazing. He's built it himself. He says it hasn't had much use. He hasn't, but check the weight of this and check the balance of it. He goes, that's your prize and my apology as well. I hope that's enough.
Barris, thank you. This is an exceptional little knife. I am going to use it to the best of my ability. Thank you, Barris.
And it's special. It's sharp. So just try not to lose it. And it is a +1 dagger as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you, Barris.
it's extra sharp and extra precise with the amazing work it's been done on it.
+1 to damage or +1 to
It's both +1. It's just a
kills.
+1. +1 for both of that.
Wow.
So it's extra sharp, extra balanced, so it's more likely to hit and definitely more likely to cut.
You're more likely to cut yourself with a blunt knife, though, aren't you?
What
Strategy.
is that?
If you're cutting onions with that, you'll be. Don't worry. Cut
And you won't
through.
cry either.
Won't slip. Yeah, so sharp that it won't make you
That should have
cry.
been how he sold it to you. It's so sharp that it could cut an onion and you won't rupture the cells to cry.
Right between the cells.
Ah,
it's
one a
so sharp
molecular
it can
knife.
split the
I like it.
Yeah, split the onion at him.
Biko's so impressed with that knife, he's going to go and grab that knife from reality. Hold the phone.
What, he's just going to go grab a kitchen.
Okay.
He's going to grab a kitchen knife. All right. Oh wait,
Pico sits down.
that's
That's why I've been short the whole time. I've been sitting down.
You're showing behind the curtain.
Pico's always in the chair.
So Biko puts his old knife away, and then he's like, "Oh, Barris, so nice.
perfect.
Thank you very much. I like the little detail. Oh, it is sharp. Shit. Thank you, Barris.
Take 1 damage.
Thank you
No,
very
no.
much."
On +1.
Yeah. And he's very proud of his work. He hasn't done much work in the form of weaponry for quite some time, and this one he's really happy with.
Pride comes before a fall.
And he falls.
Just saying. All right, I guess we're marching out of town, are we? In the direction of this unholy howling.
This what?
The unholy noises that you've described, that the villagers have described. To us.
Right. I thought, yeah. Okay, cool. So it's back towards the Goblin Cave, which was a good 40 to 50 minute walk last time.
South, is it?
It was, yeah, to the sort of southwest. To the southwest.
Southwest.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a very uneventful journey through to that Goblin Cave again. The forest is the whole area though. The forest area around Kalderra is just so nice. It's so lush. There's heaps of birds and wildlife skittering about. You see the occasional rabbit hopping through, and of course some very friendly deer that you spot just within the tree line at some point, not making any horrific noises, just being deer. And
No possums.
not yet. No, they're all asleep at this time of day, so it seems to be okay. And before too long, you find yourself back outside that area of that cave. And now what you're seeing from that cave, there's basically no entrance into that cave now as well. The whole thing had clearly come down at some point. Either it all went down at once, or just bit by bit it sort of crumbled. And Barris...
Shame.
Yeah, Barris... it's a shame. I love that cave. The Barris is looking around, and he's sort of trying. You can see that he's unsure about where exactly those the second set of tracks. He'd mentioned that after you'd gone into that cave, him and a few others had found another set of tracks and had followed that, and it looked like they were heading towards the ruins, and they heard these creatures.
The ruins. That's right.
And he's standing there and he says, "I mean, I wasn't the one who found the tracks. I'm trying to remember. Where they." And he's sort of looking around.
Who found them?
Jeffrey found them.
Oh, we should have brought Jeffrey.
What did Jeffrey do in the town?
Jeffrey Track Seeker.
Wait, actually tell me Jeffrey's
Jeffrey's
last
goatee.
name, and I'll
Okay.
guess what he does.
Okay, well, that seems strange that you think you'd know. Okay, his surname's Baker.
Does he bake bread?
Oh my
and
God,
other
how did you do that?
It's just a special skill of mine, deductive reasoning. Nominative determinism seems a big thing here in Kalderra.
Yeah.
All right, Barros. I tell you what, I'm wondering if we could help you locate these tracks. I think Biko over here, he's a man of the wild. He'd be able to sniff out a track, wouldn't you, Biko?
Thank you so much, Lovejoy. Yeah, I think maybe if we look around the ground, like that's below my eye line for a range, which was great. We can look, and he's just going to use his +1 knife to cut a little bit of vegetation here and there unnecessarily to get a better view of the ground. Snip. Oh yeah, snip.
I told you,
Look
good.
around, looking for some tracks.
Whoever wants to roll, you can sort of each roll either investigation or survival to take a look for some of these tracks. If you think your character would, you don't have to.
Roll survival.
Oh.
For a net 20.
Oh wait, you rolled survival twice there.
Did I?
Oh,
Yeah, I did.
First was
Okay,
an
so
8.
you can't just keep
the other-
rolling until you get a nat
Damn
20.
it. That's
Oh,
one for each
bloody good,
leaf
though.
that he cut, right? Yeah, a total of 8 for the first roll.
Okay, so 8 and 19 is Gildan not joining in? He's just sort of watching the others. What's Gildan up to?
I'm more wisdom. Maybe I can I listen to the birds?
You can,
Or sniff?
but by all means, you can stand there and we'll just not do a roll. He's just taking in the environment, watching the others walk about. Biko, you go off in one direction, sort of cutting away with your little knife, and then and Lovejoy, you've gone off in another direction. We'll start with you, Biko. As you're moving along, you sort of cutting little bits, and you're a little too focused on the twigs and the leaves that you're cutting, and you cut one more, and it sort of opens up into a little bit of an area, and you step down into something, and you look down to just see goblin shit that you've just stood directly onto.
Are you wearing shoes?
Well, they're not very good shoes anymore. They have quite an acidic diet, guys. So, yeah, if this happens to you, yeah, you should wash it off real fast. And he's just going to try and scrape it around on the fauna around his feet. Yeah.
Lovejoy, you have a lot of you have way better results here as you sort of walk off into one of the directions and go towards what naturally feels like a bit of a clearing, and you spot on the ground maybe 10, 20 feet away from you just a bunch of tracks that have led through this area. It looks like maybe it's been a few days since they've come through, but you can now see that clearly a dozen or more goblin tracks have made their way up from sort of the further southwest still from the cave, and they get lost a little bit on the hard ground before obviously but they're pointing directly towards that sort of cave entrance, and you can see as well that it looks like there might be, with all of the footprints on the ground, it looks like there may be a set of footprints that's heading back in the opposite direction, like the direction back towards where this large group had come from.
And I know conclusively or confidently that these are goblin tracks, do I?
Yeah, I'll say with a roll of 19, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you piece it together. You know, the amount of tracks, the amount of goblins you fought in the cave. You kind of like, I mean, this has to be them.
Must be goblins getting around about here. Pico! Gildan!
Yeah.
I call them over.
Yeah, Biko run over, like half tripping on trying to wipe his foot as he goes. Ugh.
Have a look at this, son. Tracks. A lot going that way to the old collapsed cave that we were in, but one going back the other way. It's like there's been back and forth, but where are they going? Where are they going, Biko, old son? That's the question.
Lovejoy, very impressive. Like, I found a lot of good things to cut. But this is
Good.
This is genuine tracking action. We could go tracking one day. Like even now, we could look for tracks.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, that's why we're out here. Isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it, Biko?
Yes.
Barros!
Um,
I call Barros over as well.
Barris comes over and he notices the tracks and he sort of leans down to take a further look at the tracks as well. Looks up from them and towards where they were heading. He says, I think these are them. I think these are the tracks we followed last time. I think we're good.
And you followed them away from the cave, didn't you?
Yeah, we followed them as long as we until we sort of felt the pull of Kalderra fading.
Well, that must have been very uncomfortable for you. I know how you lot love a good pull of Kalderra.
Kalderra's pull.
Well, I guess we venture forth, gentlemen. The sooner we get these possums or wipe out the last of these goblins, the sooner we can get back to having a firework-free party.
It's just not going to be the same without the fireworks. I can't believe we... Oh, he just sort of mumbles as he heads off, following the tracks in front of him.
All right, I go with the tracks as well, but I am always watching on the periphery of the tracks of the clearing to see if I can see anything, any movement in the bushes, any signs of any traps on the ground.
Okay. Give me or either an investigation or a survival, and we'll use that as your. All three of you can do that if you like, and that's kind of the roll for anything that
5 + 4 for 9.
Okay.
Well, survival or 12.
Or investigation. Okay, cool. Survival 12. Biko.
Biko's got a total of 13.
Okay, great. And we'll give Barris a roll as well. And he has rolled an 18.
He's the real hero of this campaign.
Well, he is now. You follow along. What is there any specific order to the group as you make your way down this path?
I think maybe Biko will be trailing just because he's looking for really handy leaves to cut.
Are you still focusing on those?
Yeah, got to get rid of those leaves.
I think Barros might be out front, and I'll be behind Barros.
Okay. Cool. So maybe he's kind of Lovejoy and Gildan sort of in the middle of the group. Barris out front and Biko.
I'm eating some leaves.
Okay.
I'm pulling them off and just admiring the birds and the leaves and the nature.
Kawa.
Spicy. Spicy.
Are you sort of following Harry's lead and getting some of the thicker, more fibrous? Has he sold you on any of those, or have you got your own special selection of herbs?
I don't think I could tell the difference.
Okay.
What he showed me. Need more training.
Okay, cool. It's quite a walk. Let me just bring up some further information.
Barris.
Yes, Gildan.
Have you got a will?
I haven't really thought about it to be honest. Gildan, is this something
Now's
to
the
do with
time.
what's your Peapot's god or whatever? What's his name?
Yes, Peapot. No, wait. Pelor.
Pelor.
Yeah. I have a look at my my literature. Yes, P-law. Yeah, no, well, I guess it does have something to do with P-law, but, I think it's important to have a will, if you're going to... It's because I heard that there's a lot of possums and goblins about. And if you were to die, you might like to donate it to the church,
I think Aristal would probably love
No,
obtaining my...
no, not that church. The Peapot Church, the P-law.
Well, I hadn't really thought about wills and such. Maybe I'll get onto that when we return.
Well, I mean, I would do it now, but you just think about it while we're walking.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Oh, okay. Persuasion. I have a +3. A 2 + 3.
Okay. I think I'll just wait until we get back to Kalderra. And there's very pressing matters to be had.
Yeah. Okay.
You've already travelled like 40 minutes out of Kalderra to get to that goblin cave, and it seems another hour's worth of travel before you all start feeling a little strange. You've all been used to you've been used to that feeling of Kalderra pulling you back towards it this whole journey, and you've almost forgotten about it because it's become so normal to feel it. And there's just this absence that is starting to grow inside like your chest, and it's just you're feeling just this absence of feeling now, and it's not feeling good. And Barris stops for a moment, just puts his hands on his thighs and just takes this big deep breath. This is almost where we were when we heard the sounds earlier. We're getting close.
You feel that, guys? Or don't feel that? It's like a hollowness in my chest. An anti-pull.
A push, even.
It's like I'm homesick almost.
I never thought I'd see the day, but I found myself feeling a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit like I want to be getting back home.
Shall we go home?
It's like when you eat all those mushrooms and you don't cook them right, and then
It's just like that, isn't it?
I've probably still got some of those if you guys want. Maybe it cancels it out. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I'll have one. Yeah.
Yeah. Here you go. It's a bit smelly, but give it a try, Gilda. There you go.
Smells healthy.
Yeah.
I think
Barris, do you want a mushroom? Like, it might help with the old chest thing.
Why not? Why not, Biko?
Yeah. Biko's quite impressed. He managed to sort of palm off 2 mushrooms, so he's going to take one himself.
Oh, right. I think that the talking and sort of the little bit of camaraderie just helps a little bit, and you will continue on in the direction you're in. And before too long, somewhere along this journey, the tracks that you've been following has turned into what seems like a long forgotten path now. The greenery is lush and dense, and the path just is still winding downhill, and you can see that you're almost following a path down in between some rising areas now. Like you're cutting down in between some cliff faces now.
A valley or
not a big wide valley. It's almost
chasm.
Just a small chasm, just a very small chasm.
Oh, I'm going to look out.
Fair enough.
For goblins.
The one thing.
This is a sort of place they'll jump on you.
The one thing that is very noticeable now on the path, now that it's turned into more of a path instead of just tracks through the wilderness, is there's a clear blood trail that has appeared on the ground in front of you now.
Blood
Fresh
trail.
blood? Fresh blood?
Yeah.
Old blood?
Yeah, it is. It's
Fresh.
It's fresh blood.
Animal blood?
Come and get your fresh blood. Look at that.
Fresh is best. That's what they say.
You could, if you want, you could give me another survival roll to see if you can sort of take a bit more of a look into what sort of blood it might be.
I will
Or if there's
put
any
my finger
clues.
into the blood and taste the blood. Smell and I've got a net 1. I don't know why I specifically chose to tell you about that action before rolling. Seems stupid now.
Just
So you taste the blood.
you taste nothing but blood now, and mixed with like a little bit of dirt that that the blood is stuck to. And you just put it directly into your mouth, and you just got that irony taste in your mouth. You've learnt nothing new about anything.
I've got a bit Jim Carrey on it.
Lovejoy turns around to look at me, and his teeth are just still red. So,
It's just like 3 fingers across all this blood and just smearing it across his teeth and mouth.
blood lips. Got way too much by accident. Whoa, Lovejoy. Not the. That's fresh blood.
Oh man.
What kind of blood is it? I rolled a 16.
You rolled a 16, Gildan. So I think you've noticed that now that you're taking a look down at the blood, you're trying to get a little close to it. There are still tracks, and you're noticing that at this point there's 2 fresh set of tracks going in the same direction that you're going in. And it looks like the blood is following the tracks. So
There's 2 sets of tracks.
just like 2 sets of footprints.
So like 2 people.
2 people.
2 creatures.
Yeah. And it looks like blood is like dripping down from both. So it's sort of sporadic bits of blood that seem to be lining up with both sets of footprints.
Oh, okay. Blood on both trails.
Yeah.
Blood on the tracks.
And I'd say even with a roll of 16, you'll notice that whatever is heading in that direction is taking very short steps, and you're sort of looking at it. The short steps, the bleeding, whatever's traveling in this direction is not traveling
gnomes.
fast.
Well, oh my gosh. So it looks like whatever's going this way it must be the things that's bleeding, right?
Guys, you're doing so good at the whole tracking and the nature and the stuff.
Thank you.
I reckon we could do one of 2 things. One is we could be like stealthy, like, and see whatever just got wasted here is nearby. Or we could go even faster because they're probably messed up and we could catch them pretty quick.
Why don't we
I'm
go
not good on
quick,
decisions?
but
What do you guys
quiet?
think? Are we allowed to do that?
Like, aren't you all about the stealth, Biko?
Yeah.
You're always sneaking. Why don't you maybe go up ahead? I'm not trying to get rid of you, but why don't you go up ahead as quietly and as sneakily as you can? See if you can get
It's an idea I've heard a lot when I talk to people, but I'll give it a try.
Good.
Yeah.
It's just an option.
All right.
Yeah.
Give us a stealth roll.
While you're out, we'll yell back and forth to see what you can see. You yell back.
Biko rolls a total of 5.
Not very stealthy. That's
It's
okay.
clear.
Nothing up there.
Clear.
Biko, you sort of head maybe 30, 40 feet ahead of the group just to see around some of the curves in the path, just to have a quick peek around. You run up to a tree and sort of peek out around and like accidentally like break off a bit of the bark. And you're looking around, and you get a bit further ahead, turn around the corner, and there's like a clearing in the tree line off in the distance. So the path is still heading down, and you can see maybe a few 100 feet away a clearing off in the tree line, and you can see way off in the distance now just the top of a smallish stone tower, just the top of it, and it seems to be in really bad shape. From what
Ruined.
you can make out, it's ruined.
say.
You might even think maybe these are the ruins that's been talked about.
I don't know if we want to jump to any hasty conclusions.
Ruins everywhere.
And after another 10 minutes of making your way down this path with Biko, maybe how far ahead of the group do you reckon you'll be?
Maybe shouting distance, which he'll continue to confirm as he goes. A little bit too far, and then come back a bit. Maybe like 30 feet.
Okay, yeah. Let's go 30 feet ahead. Eventually, you start noticing the sound of running water coming from sort of down the path ahead of you. But what's more noticeable are these grunts and panting and the sound of feet on dirt some coming from creatures just up ahead. You can't see anything at the moment, just with the twists and turns of the path.
At the feet on dirt sound, Beaker's gonna scurry back to his compatriots. Guys, the old fast sneaky thing worked, Lovejoy. There's something up ahead, so we should go in.
Gilden, you'd recognise that sound anywhere, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I heard it from here. Slap, slap, slap.
What do we do, guys?
Well, we should lower our voices, and we should try and keep a bit of a low profile, because we know up there is some danger. That's all I can say. There's some danger up there.
I think you're right.
Why don't we try and spy on the goings on and assess the Barros looks like he'd be able to secrete himself behind a twig.
Make fun of his one eye again.
Yeah.
Let's spy on that man. With your one eye. That'll be so mean. It's so mean. Like,
I'm going to look at Barros and say, I spy with my little eye.
You guys are bullies, and
okay. Yeah. All right. You guys get ready. I'll go have a quick peek, and I'll come straight back, or I'll get killed. I don't know.
don't get killed.
Give me
that one.
Give me another stealth roll. It's been 20 minutes. I think you deserve another stealth roll.
Biko rolls a total of 12 for stealth. That's
Okay.
totally more than 10.
Okay. You sort of are walking like as gently as you can and as quietly as you can, following this path. And you can see now, at first it was just sort of forms through the gaps in the trees that you were seeing, but you've moved far ahead now that you can see sort of limping and hobbling up the path, or down the path, I should say. Two of these goblins. One of them is just holding on to its head, and it's got a streak of blood sort of down the side of its face, and it's dripping down onto the ground. The other one is holding its side, and it too is looking worse for wear, with blood dripping down onto the ground.
That's what you ate, Lovejoy.
That's where I what?
That's what you ate. There.
Oh. And Lovejoy, hearing that, tries to stifle a vom, because that would not be good for hiding.
I'll say at this point it's just Biko that can see the full forms, but the others you're seeing just shapes within the gaps in the trees. You can't fully make them out.
Okay.
At this point, Biko's going to squat a little lower and pull an arrow out of this quiver and look back at the group and be like,
Barris just gives you a thumbs up as well.
and with that confirmation of his delicate strategy, he's going to loose an arrow towards the closest bleeding goblin.
Give us a roll to hit. This is a surprise attack, so please go right ahead.
Whee! I collected so many things.
We'll take your first roll, which I believe was a 12.
12. There you go, for 4 piercing and 8 sneak attack damage.
A 12 is not enough. It pings into the stones next to one of the goblins, and they just quickly, both of them just turn around with a really fast, jerky motion, and before they get a chance to really take in what is following up behind them, they just start running away from you with whatever might they can muster.
How much
That will
might
just
can they
speed
muster?
their bleeding, won't it?
It won't help their bleeding, that's for sure.
Open their wounds.
Vico, seeing his shot miss, he's like, oh, miss it. And he's going to sneak back to the group. Guys, 2 goblins. Like I said, with the old hand wiggly woos.
Yeah,
But,
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they
they're
like?
bolted.
They
ran
ran
away. They look pretty bleedy. So I reckon their old heart
We can take
machine
him.
has got a problem. So
What do
You
you say
always
he's
astound
bleeding?
me with your medical terminology.
Yeah. Like I like to make a new one each time because then you can get the
I've heard that
breadth
about
of
doctors.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you. You know what? With your heart beeper, it makes that little. Anyway, maybe another time, Lovejoy. But there's the goblins. We can gap it, or he's going to turn around and start walking towards them.
Okay, I'm gonna follow. He starts walking. Hey, you walk. Wait for me.
Are you guys?
yeah.
Are you
Come.
running up behind them? Are you? What are you doing? Because they're moving at a. They're trying to go at a fast pace, but obviously with their injuries, it's not overly quick. But they're
I'm jogging.
okay.
Ka-chung, 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 ka-chung.
You guys managed to catch up pretty quick. Are you guys in a like dashing, or would you, or just using your normal movement speed?
I
Biko
would
go
think
normal.
normal.
Okay, all right. You still managed to gain on them, despite that the lack of urgency. I guess you're going at a normal pace, and they hit sort of the edge of the stream. You're running down this pathway, and now from that running water, you can see in front of the goblins what looks to be a relatively shallow stream, and they hit the edge of the shore before just pushing down into the water, and it seems to be quickly getting up to waist level for them.
Is it running water?
It's flowing, but not flowing very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't need to do that thing you do in the Scouts where you all link arms and you
No.
slowly across the river.
No,
Hold
they're
hands.
frantically, they're no longer holding on to the parts that were injured, and they're frantically like paddling into the water. And now you can hear them calling out. First in Goblin, making no sense whatsoever, but you do make out the words, "It's them! It's them! They've come for us again! Quick! Quick! Help! Help!" And in return, you can hear this booming, sort of more gruffer voice calling out in Goblin. Again, you're not really understanding what it is that's being said, but now there are multiple voices that you can hear. Some that are much deeper. And then in return is this barking, almost this mix between man and like a wolf or a dog. It's kind of this barking but screaming.
Milf.
Just a couple of milfs on the and the sound of them is like terrifying of these milfs.
I don't know. It depends. What you like? What? So there's 4. What are they?
Well, you can't see them yet. You're just hearing.
Oh,
you
I can just hear this horror, like a howl.
almost like barking, but a mix
More
between.
like a cougar.
Yeah, I was trying to make a cougar sound and
Oh,
nothing
the
came up.
gills.
It's a mix between like snarling and barking of a dog, but with a deep scream of a man.
Oh,
Ooh.
Gosh, that's totally the sound, right? Like, oh man.
I'm getting some Island of Dr. Moreau vibes.
Barris is getting pretty nervous. The warhammer is now like in his hand, ready to be used. He's got
Warhammer.
both hands on the warhammer, and he is looking like scared. Like he's almost shaking with fear.
if it makes you feel better, Barris, just tell me what your will is. But I say that as I'm walking past him.
Okay, cool. Lovejoy?
I'd like to cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay, perfect. Is it a spell or a cantrip?
It
What
is. It's a spell, unfortunately.
that? Oh, you're gonna have to give me a D100.
That's what, 8 hours.
Is it a D? I can't remember. Oh man, I always forget this.
Yeah, it's a D100.
Why isn't it a D? No, it's a D20, right? D20.
It's a D100.
That's if you trigger it. It's a D20 to see if wild magic gets triggered, right?
All right.
So if you roll a
boys.
1, which you did not, so you're safe.
Okay. Feels like that would hardly ever happen, doesn't it?
1 in 20 times, I assume. Maybe. It's
Someone's
probably
studied
unlikely to
probability.
And it sounds like not the kind of thing you would want to happen realistically. There's some good and bad stuff, but you could just fireball the entire group. So just, careful what you wish for.
Biko, upon seeing Barris's fear, is going to reach into his pocket and pull out a little mushroom. He's like, mushroom of no damage. Take this. You will never get hurt. For 3 minutes.
You're giving that to Barris?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a normal mushroom. But he's going to describe it as if he cannot be hurt for 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. Barris is like, he holds it like, and for a moment that scared look on his face just drops, and he just pushes it into his mouth. And while he's chewing, he's like, aren't you gonna have one of those?
Don't chew it! Sorry, Barris, I should have explained. Yeah. It'll be still very good. Come on, let's go get these guys.
Okay, cool. I think Barris is picking up the pace now a little bit as well. What we'll do... Actually, we'll wait a little bit long before rolling initiative. We're still in free turn order, I reckon. The goblins are just frantically sort of making their way. They've gotten to the deepest part of the stream, about 10 feet away from the edge of the river side. It's coming up to their chest now, and they're really trying to like half swim, half wade. It's really slowing them down.
I might fire off a ray of frost, and I'll turn to Barros. No, actually, who wasn't? No one's going to be impressed by this. I'll just do it then. I'll just fire off a ray of frost at them.
Okay. Give us a roll to... Is it a roll to hit? Is it?
It is, yes. Oh, that's a 20 all up.
Wow.
Unnatural 20.
It's a 15 plus 5. Unnatural. Completely unnatural.
Is there... That is a hit. That is a hit. Roll for damage.
Oh, 6 cold damage, and they're in the water as well, so you know how that will sting.
Oh, that'll really...
Nipples just explode.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to tell us what that looks like for one very unlucky goblin?
The ray of frost shoots out from Lovejoy's extended hand, this kind of brilliant white kind of beam, like the fluorescent light from the 1980s, traveling fast, like it was shot out of a railgun, and just kind of goes straight into the back of one of them. Is he dead?
He's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of just like tears him apart, and you kind of just see him, like his back kind of starts to open up, and then he just lurches forward into the water, and then there's like a red pooling of blood around where he hit the water.
The goblin next to him starts like screaming for help. It's a mixture of common and goblin. He's flailing around, going under the water before like coming back up and trying to make his way across. Biko,
I'm going to yell out, "Come back this way!"
roll persuasion.
Okay.
It's going to be a very hard roll.
19 plus 3 for 22.
Oh, damn.
There is like confusion because of just the height of the amount of terror running through this goblin's veins at the moment. He knows who you are, and he can see, and he was calling out to someone or something else, and he doesn't know where it's coming from, and it confuses him to the point where he just stops frozen. It's just so confusing to him.
Because I'm running down to the waterfront and hold up my hands. Look, just come back here and just ask you some questions. I just want to know what's going on around here.
You run down to the water to as you're saying all of this, and across the other side of the river now, you see what was making the noise. What you can see, you've read about them in books about camps being overrun by goblins, and quite often they have these things called hobgoblins that are the sort of the stronger versions of these goblins that often keep goblins as their workers or slaves sometimes. And these two hobgoblins have these creatures on leashes. They're bipeds. They're almost a cross between hyenas and people. Again, something you've heard about before, these gnolls. And they are like currently just barking and screaming and howling in your direction, really pushing and choking themselves against the edges of the leashes, and the hobgoblins are holding them back to try and stop them from breaking free. And the hobgoblins see you now, just Gildan standing there on the other side of the river, and the hobgoblins look at each other, nod, and just drop one of the leashes each.
By Pelor's hat. Look, come back here. They've got monsters on that other side. Run quickly.
And I'll get a roll of initiative from everyone. So don't forget to click your tokens first.
I'll click my token.
Pretty good. Oh, no, it wasn't pretty good.
What'd you get?
You can roll 7 total.
I got a 15 plus 1.
Nice.
Got a 13.
Cool. We've got the goblins with a 16, or the goblin. We have the hobgoblins with a 15. The gnolls. Noel Edmund with a total of 11.
I got a 19.
Truly terrifying.
And Barris.
And I used to work with a guy that we used to call the hobgoblin.
Okay.
Behind his back.
Did you? Oh, behind us.
And Barris with a roll of 2.
Oh, with a natural 1.
With a natural 1. So at the top of the order is Lovejoy.
God, I hate being at the top of the order.
You haven't seen these creatures on the other side, but you have called out. You have seen Gildan like stop in his tracks and sort of try and persuade the goblin to move back, that there are monsters on the other side.
I did yell out in horror.
Oh, okay.
There, yeah.
I'm going to move as far as this kind of bank of rocks in front of me, so I can hide behind those after my turn, is my thinking.
Okay.
But as soon as I get there, I presume that I can see the moths on the other side.
Yeah. You can now see the six enemies on the other side of the and strangely enough, this goblin in the middle of the stream now is just not moving in the direction he was. He's confused. He's looking about, not sure which direction to go.
He's not my immediate concern. I think once I've seen those moths, I think 2 of them are off the leash, right?
2 of them are off the leash, yeah.
Which 2?
The outside ones. The ones on each, outside each.
Yeah, so outside wingback. Okay. I think I'm going to run an infestation cantrip. They have dirty mongrels. They seem like they'd be prone to an infestation.
Yeah.
So I hold up my other hand this time. They need to make a DC 13 Constitution save to avoid getting fleed.
Can you give me the description for this? Like, just is it an area effect, or is it one that you're aiming this at?
I'm aiming it at 1. It's at a creature. I'll display it in the VTT.
Okay. Cloud of mites, fleas, and other parasites. Target must make a Constitution saving throw. Okay. Let's roll that. 4. It is a roll.
That's
of
not a
4.
13, is it?
No, it's not.
Not at all. Awful.
It's 1d6 poison damage. It moves 5 foot in a random direction.
What level am I? I'm 3. Okay, we don't need to increase any damage. Yeah, yep. So it takes 1d6 poison and it'll move
All right. Well,
randomly.
it
That's
looks
good.
like it's already rolled the poison damage. So which one are we aiming for here?
So the left. Well, my left. So the one closest to the
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's quite a symmetrical arrangement, so it's hard for me to.
Yeah.
describe.
The one on the outside left, we'll say. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Cool. This guy here.
Yes, that's it.
Cool. There, the fleas, or what have you got? Is it mites that start appearing as in a cloud around this knoll, and they instantly like soak down into its fur? It's just covered in this thick, kind of wiry fur, and it starts scratching and goes a little crazy with it. Can you give me a D4, and we'll find out which direction he's going to run?
Yes. Confusion. It's a 1.
And he just moves 5 foot away from you all, back closer. It's not a specific. It's not like he's specifically trying to run away. It's just the madness of the scratching and itching is just moving him in a random direction, and he moves a little bit further away.
Is he
from
scratching with his foot? Like,
his
chin?
yeah, just all around. Like behind his ears and stuff. Like he's really getting in there, and his claws are getting a little close to his eyes. You know how dogs do that sometimes? They scratching like, oh, don't get your eyes.
oh, he scratches his eyes out? Oh.
Um,
okay.
Anything else from Lovejoy?
Yes, I will. Oh, hang on a minute. I thought I was a rogue for a moment. No, I can't use a bonus action to hide because I've used up all my movement. What a dopey cunt. I just stand there.
Okay, good. On the rocks. You're looking great. The goblin is sort of snapped out of its confusion for a bit and continues sort of wading its way north towards the group. But he only makes it 15 feet. He's really struggling to get across with the damage to his head. It is the hobgoblins' turns, and both of them pull a spear off their backs and hand it to the gnolls that are no longer on the leashes just before they sort of like dart off. One of them is scratching away and he's getting frustrated. He's like, just trying to like hand it to him, just knock him out of this crazed scratching. And the gnoll sort of grabs the spear and gets back to scratching. And the other hobgoblin moves forward and hands the spear to this gnoll as well. And they're just keeping an eye on the other side of the river. They've got no intention to join at the moment, and they both go back to their original sort of placement to watch what's going on. Gildan.
Oh, okay. Pelor, please make a flaming sphere and burn these horrible creatures that are attacking this goblin.
Okay.
I cast flaming sphere.
Damn. Okay.
Oh, dang.
I thought that was going to show it here. So it's just a 5 foot flaming sphere that I will appear just in front of this knoll.
Just in front of it?
Yeah, but then I can use a bonus action to push it into him.
Oh, okay.
Move it up to 30 feet per turn.
Which one are you placing it in front of?
This one on the right.
This one.
Is that one's off the leash? Isn't
that one
it?
is off the leash. That's correct.
Off the leash. These moths are off the leash.
Look, I've even got like a cool little. Is that gonna?
Whoa!
Yeah.
It looks sick.
Halo.
But it's only 5 feet across.
5 feet diameter or radius?
I think so.
Well, that was
Yeah,
an
5 foot.
either or.
5 foot diameter. A 5 foot diameter.
All right, and you're just
go.
placing
Made
it.
look. That's less than 5. Well, whatever.
It's doing an annoying thing where
It's a lot like Krillin's Destructo disc.
Oh, nice.
how's that? You happy with that size then?
Yeah, beauty.
Okay, and so this flaming sphere just appears in front of the knoll.
Pelor's might.
Pelor's might. So it's not affecting him at the moment, right?
Well, I use my bonus action to push it into him,
Okay.
to move it onto his space. And he has to do a dexterity saving throw of 13.
He's not good at these.
A dexterity saving throw. We'll place it a little bit off him just so I can select him as well. A dexterity saving throw. Let's see how he goes. 19.
Okay. Well, he takes half of that 7 damage.
Okay.
Round it up to 7.
Yes.
I'm just going to move that away so I can select this guy. This man. 7. So 7 half damage.
No.
No, yeah. Okay, cool.
It's a Christmassy name.
It is. It's very
Oh, well.
Christmassy. Anything else from Gildan? Like he manages to he's grabbed the spear off the hobgoblin behind him. Turns to see the sphere appear and move towards him. He tries to just dodge out of the way as it moves into his area. Just singes a little bit of the fur on his arm and side.
Oh, I'm going to yell out to all of them. Look, just don't come over this side of the river. You stay over there. In fact, keep moving away from us, please.
Can you just give me the details for
Persuasion?
No, just give me the details for that spell. Someone in the chat is saying there's more to the spell.
Oh, is there?
So I'm keen to understand it fully.
I did cast it on the... Oh, I see. Okay. Display on VTT. Here we go.
A 5-foot diameter sphere of fire appears in an unoccupied space. Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of it must make a dexterity saving throw. So the creature takes 2d6. So even the other one needs to
have it above him.
any creature that ends its turn. So it's not. As a bonus action, you may move this. If you ran the sphere into a creature, that creature must make the saving throw. Okay. All right. So that's still true. But if anyone ends their sort of turn in that area now, then they'll have to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sorry. Anything else from Gildan? Sorry.
No, just my persuasive speech that I just made. That's very
Right. Well, I can't
likely
get you
to
to
work.
Can't get you to. You've already had your action, so I can't get you to roll persuasion again. It is just some words being shouted out.
Yeah.
The Gnoll's turns. The one that was scratching darts forward 10 feet and then just goes to this running leap, splash down into the water, and moves to continue across to the other side, other side of the river where it is starting to get a little shallower. So he manages to jump and leap over what was remaining there. And the same goes for the Gnoll on the other side. With spear in hand, he runs the 10-foot through into the shallow water and just leaps down into the depths of this river, the deeper part of the stream, and then just continues past the goblin body floating in the river. The two Gnolls that are still on leashes are sort of snarling and yelping for release. Like they really want to get in on this action too. And the hobgoblin pulls back on the leash to bring the Gnoll away from this burning sphere. And the other Gnoll that's also there on his leash runs back to the hobgoblin and is barking for some form of weapon. Like it's just ravenously wanting something. Biko.
Alrighty. Biko's heard a lot of commotion up by the river, so he's gonna nimbly make his way up to the side of the river there and see this Gnoll charging across. He's going to take a deep breath and loose an arrow towards the Gnoll.
Cool. Give us a roll to hit.
Total of 16.
And is it this one next to the dead goblin that you were aiming at. Is that the one?
That's right.
16 is a hit.
Cool. 8 piercing.
Okay. There's only maybe the top part of the knoll above the surface at the moment is doggy paddling. He's doggy paddling over, but snarling and sneering. But you manage to just launch one of these arrows into its shoulder, which definitely slows it down as it takes 8 piercing damage.
And as a bonus action, at seeing this creature run towards him, he's gonna Biko blend into the forest around him.
Okay, that sounds good. Barris ends this round of combat by sprinting up with that newfound strength from Biko's mushroom that he's so sure he's feeling, and that confidence that he's feeling, and he just waits on the edge of the river bed with his warhammer up, just waiting for a moment to bring that down on anything that comes near. And we'll take a 5-minute break if people want to grab a drink or refreshment or whatever it is that you want to grab.
I do. See you
Grab
soon.
anything.
All right. Just grab anything. Lyndon, thank you for the quick note in the chat about the fire sphere. He said the sphere was used at the vineyard in Strahd, if he remembers right. So do you remember who cast it? I feel like that was probably an American thing, right?
Must be American.
Yeah. We had some really good Noel. We had Noel Gallagher, or Noel Galloper, if you want deniability. And the infested one is Noel Teeming. I like that. That was good. Instead of, yeah.
No leaning.
Yeah. And Larp Kiwi, or 20 Sides to a Story, confirms it was indeed American that used that spell.
Nice.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, Larp Kiwi, I noticed you said you might miss out on the charity stream. Is that right? I'm going to miss the big yes and stream by the sounds of things. Everything okay? How is that all coming along anyway? I can't remember if that's August or September, but that'll be a group of New Zealanders do like a 24-hour D&D stream where every few hours they swap out players and DMs to craft like this really long story over 24 hours, which is super cool. They've done it like 2 years already, and this is their 3rd year, I think. You've got a LARP to go to. Well, there we go. Is it down in Wellington? I know you've been down here before for LARP, so I'm not sure if all of them are down here or if Auckland is keen for that kind of stuff as well. Seems like a very Wellington thing for some reason.
There's a lot of people in Auckland.
There are a lot of people in Auckland. Yeah.
If Auckland invaded Wellington with a LARP, that would be pretty cool.
Just if it was all of them, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be pretty intimidating.
Terrifying, actually.
It's interesting. I would have, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I would have, even 2 years ago, I think, I would have just said, no, there's no way I'd ever go to a LARP session. And I think I could be persuaded to go now, I feel. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I've seen some LARP stuff that they go on in America.
Oh, yeah.
It's real fun looking stuff. And
Yeah.
quite a broad range of different types of LARPs as well. I've seen like some super combat heavy LARPs.
Oh,
where
really?
people have heaps of armor and they've got heaps of weapons and they're pretty much just on a field and just smash each other. That's kind of the whole thing. And
until
others
death.
which are super role playish. Like there's one in like the ruins of some old castle in England or something.
Oh,
And it's like
okay,
for 48
cool.
hours and you do a thing and there's like a mystery involved and there's a bunch of stuff.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, see, I think I could be persuaded now. Yeah. Lap says it's in Auckland. A good bit of biff, but some non-combat LARPs too. Oh, cool. That sounds awesome. That sounds a lot. Would you do it, Shannon? What do you think?
I don't really leave the house.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So yeah, okay.
It would involve that, I suppose. I could LARP at home.
Yeah.
This is laughing, right?
Yeah.
This is getting pretty close to it. I think that's why I'm like, I feel like I could actually do it now. I've done enough D&D to get over the like my original thoughts of what LARPing was, I think.
You could go laughing as a DM and just tell people what to do.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I could get a patch and go as Barris, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they do like Cthulhu LARPing where you have like an investigation or something? I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they would.
Okay, so people like normies, right? The normies out there, they do like murder mystery parties, and that's just LARPing as well, right?
Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Kiwi says, if you want to try, I can point you to the games in Welly. And he also said, yes, we did a Cthulhu LARP.
Ah, right.
I'd totally turn up as Cthulhu. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
It's like all tentacles.
A Cthulhu
Like-
LARP would be sweet. That would actually be awesome.
Well, LARPing's just improv, really, isn't it?
100%.
We've got Lyndon. We've got Lyndon on the line, don't we? Is Lyndon still
Yeah, we're
live
talking
and
to
watching?
him now.
Yeah,
No, and we're talking
Lyndon's
to
an
LARP
improv
Kiwi.
specialist, I
We're
believe.
talking to LARP Kiwi at the moment, but I believe Lyndon's still here. Yeah, 'cause he does like proper state. He says he's here just. Good that we're keeping your attention, Lyndon.
That's good. Yeah.
Me too, Lyndon. Me too.
He says it's nearly bedtime. I get that. It is nearly bedtime for me as well.
Nearly bedtime isn't bedtime. So can you just confirm LARPing is just another form of improv, right? Who's with me? I don't know why I've seen something that's like quite agreeable, but like trying to like garner support for it as if it's like, really
Like I'm pretty sure all of us have said, yeah, it is, and you're just like, come on,
Yeah.
guys, get on board this crazy idea.
But I want to hear it from Lyndon since he's the only one who's like a true
Lyndon,
blue
can you please
improver.
type something in the chat just so we can
Just move on.
just give
I
us like
refuse
a
to resume the campaign until Lyndon's profit his view.
just give us like a LARP Kiwi. Here we go. Lyndon said, "Sure, fine," and all in caps.
Oh, I thought he was just
Thank you.
non-committal. Like, yeah, sure, fine, because he's bedtime,
ambiguity
yeah.
in there.
Yeah. LARP Kiwi said he used to do theatre sports and totally agrees. Has everyone else done theatre sports? I've done theatre sports. That's heaps of fun.
No, I haven't.
Shitload of
That's,
fun.
I've got a story about theatre sports if you'll indulge me.
Please.
So I went to university for 6 months of my life and dropped out after 6 months. But in that 6 months, I went and did theatre sports for a session, and I wish I was making this sound. I sound like such a cock. But the woman who was the teacher or that ran the theatre sports begged me to come back, and I said, I'm not coming back. She begged me to come back. I wouldn't do it.
I see.
Yes.
I had a similar thing, but when I said no, they offered me money, and I went, all right, okay, I'll do it then.
Offer you money to come back or
So
not to come
so
back?
so I did like
I was offered a small Caribbean island, and I still
I did like 2 years of a diploma and then pulled out because I kept failing all the bullshit extra stuff that they always want you to write, like essays on stuff that's not relevant to like anything. Has my camera died? I feel like my camera's died.
Frozen.
Okay. Anyway, so eventually I dropped out, and they said they really wanted me back for like the third year's final presentation. And I was like, no, I'm not even. I don't even go here anymore. They're like, we'll give you $1,000 if you can do it. And I was like, what?
Whoa.
I was like, okay, yeah, okay, so I can do that then. I'll do that. I didn't, I didn't get the diploma, but I did get paid $1,000
for what?
Just to-
$1,000 for doing.
just to do their final show, like final presentation show that they have to put together to pass the course. They needed someone else in it, and they came.
Like dancing and stuff, or what?
It was what they had to do is they had to tour. They took like this. They scripted in this like this show
private dancer.
that they toured a whole bunch of schools with, and so I had to go around a bunch of these Northland
So
schools.
not just one show, but like
It was one show to different schools. Yeah. So it was like three. I think we did it like 3 or 4 times.
That's called a tour in the biz.
There we go. I did a tour.
Wow, you went on tour.
Yeah, I went on
There we
tour.
go.
That was a long
A
time
paid
ago.
tour,
A paid
professional
tour.
tourist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was good.
Yeah,
It was good fun.
tourist.
I was a tourist. I just became a tourist for a few days.
What did you say?
That's incredible.
It was fun. Yeah, I loved it
That was
because
a
like
good show.
yeah, because it was so satisfying. Like quitting the course, being like, fuck this. I was doing really well with everything else except the written stuff, and I was like, I'm out if you want me to, because they wanted me to redo a year, and I'm like, I'm not redoing anything.
I didn't even do it in the first place.
yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Gotta redo it.
Yeah. That's a good point. They wanted me to do the bits that I didn't do, actually,
do
not
it.
redo anything. Just, can you please
it
do
once,
those bits?
please. Got 6. You're bum.
Right. Do we want to get back? Do we want to get back into the forest?
I can't believe how one-upped I just got.
Trust me,
yes, and-
that'll be. Yeah, that's a good point. That was the best yes and I've ever done.
Yes, and I did it better.
It won't happen again, Adam. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry.
No.
Anyway,
don't
did I
be
tell you
sorry.
about the stand-up show I did the other night for like $200 that I got?
No, and neither did anyone else. Whoa. Doesn't count if you book yourself.
Pleasant Forest sounds coming up. And it's so mean.
I quite like. They're only coming out of one ear for me, but it's still quite relaxing.
Oh, really? Should come out of both ears.
Mostly on this side.
Tweet,
A little.
tweet.
I get it on both. I get it like it's very mono for me, to be honest.
Binaural.
Like right in the middle of my
Oh.
head.
I was like,
All right,
hopefully
Lovejoy.
these hobgoblins chill out.
Barris has just sort of joined you on the near the waterfront there.
Barris on the banks.
Barris on the banks. And one of the gnolls moving towards you both now has an arrow sticking out of its shoulder as well.
Oh, sorry. I know this seems silly, but I've just remembered that I've got conventional weapons as well, but none that would be helpful until I'm at close range. Darn. Well,
Get in there.
trusty old ray of frost. I'm going to go to the knoll that is closest to me and next to the deceased goblin.
All right, give us a roll to hit.
Oh, sorry, that was just damage.
Just go straight to damage.
That's a 14 all up.
Which is
9 plus 5.
which is a miss, slamming down into the goblin right next to him, and he snarls out with one of those weird human-esque barks in your direction and sort of changes his positioning to face you.
Oh shit. I'm going to try and climb up this rock with my movement.
Okay.
To be atop the rock.
Yeah.
It's 1 foot high.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? It's not a it's not a massive rock. It's only like maybe 1.5 to 2 feet up. So it's giving you a little bit of high ground here. Anything else from Lovejoy?
No, I think the situation's turning very bad.
Okay, the goblin is continuing its path across and gets to a point where about 10 feet away from the edge of the river, it starts to get a little shallower, and he picks up a little speed and goes to sort of just make his way around this giant flaming sphere. He's still injured, and you can now see him turn and pointing to you and talking in goblin over to the hobgoblins, and they just sort of nod and sort of stand staunchly on the opposing side of the riverbank. It is the hobgoblins' turns, and with their hands, both hands are on the leash, really like wrestling the force of these gnolls, almost like choking themselves against the leash. And one of them, the one on the left, sort of wraps it around his elbow to get a better hold of the leash, grabs like this bow off his back, and just slams it into the gnoll's chest, like angrily, like here you go kind of thing. And the gnoll just grabs it and is excited to have this bow. The other hobgoblin takes a step back and yanks on the leash, pulling the gnoll back towards him to try and calm this gnoll down. Gildan.
Well, I'm going to concentrate and pull the flaming sphere back towards on top of the closest gnoll.
How far can you move it?
30 feet. Then that's 30 feet.
Yeah, like right on top of him. Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Boom.
Bong.
And that is a dex saving throw.
Yeah, of 13.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, it is a 5. He
Right.
doesn't hear it coming. It's he's just focused solely on Lovejoy.
I got it. Oh no,
Take
I've
that.
clicked the wrong thing. Hold on. Here we go. 10.
That's much better.
Oh, that is good. Damn, this thing, because he's kind of submerged quite a bit in the water at this point, and the sphere just hovers and moves just like right over
Just
like the
steam
top of
going.
its- Yeah, steam coming up from the water as it tracks closer and closer behind him. And he turns just as the moment as this big flaming sphere just engulfs his entire head, and he just screams out in agony as all the hair just like burns off his face and head and skull. He's still alive, but he's barely alive, and he is in absolute agony right now.
To quote Austin Powers too, I'm still alive, but I'm very badly burned.
I forgot to mention it makes it ignites flammable objects. So I was wondering if when it was up there, it burnt these bushes or something.
Yeah, we
Is he
can
wearing some children's pajamas from the warehouse?
we can definitely say it's left a bit of burnt greenery. There's
So
now-
it's not on fire over there, is it?
Well, where it was up in this area here, so it probably
Yeah.
has burnt all of this stuff down to the ground, but it hasn't like caught on fire.
It's not catching fire up there.
No.
Well, maybe it should.
Maybe it should have been placed better.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm going to be very happy that this happened well. Amazing work, Pelor. I'm going to cast Sacred Flame. Please, Pelor. And more fire lowers down onto the head
Oh
of that
man.
gnoll. Flame-like radiance descends on a creature that you can see within range, and it must make a dexterity saving throw. Does it have a disadvantage seeing it's like up to its neck in water?
Well,
with
no,
its dex?
because he could just dive directly under the water, couldn't he? So he's
Okay.
he's okay. But he did only roll a
is the
4,
dex throw?
so he did only roll a 4.
All right, so it does 1d8 damage.
You don't even need to roll it. Just one, it was just any damage was going to do this poor gnoll. And as the flames just lick up against its around it, you're seeing like almost no form of it, just the silhouette of it burning with its like wolven mouth like open and screaming. And then just as a flicker of the flames parts for a moment, you can just see the skull of it drop down beneath the water.
My goodness.
Graphic.
Yeah.
Flaming skull.
A
He's...
mango or something, isn't it?
From 2-2.
A mango.
I don't know.
That is anything else from Gildan? That was pretty good. That was pretty
No.
badass, to be honest.
But be careful, there's more of them.
There are. And it is their turn. The gnoll closest to you reaches sort of the shallow part. This is for Lovejoy. Reaches the shallow part of the river, grabs its spear, and just launches it towards Lovejoy.
Whoa.
We'll do a ranged attack.
Up on his 2-foot high rock.
It is a roll of a 10.
You'll have to do better than that to get Lovejoy. That's a miss.
Okay.
Pathetic.
Well, like 3 better or
4.
4 better? Yeah.
Yeah, it just soars straight past you, just right past your face, Lovejoy, and clatters down into the rocks behind you. But it doesn't slow the speed of this creature as it just pushes through the water, through the greenery on the side of the riverbank, and just starts charging up towards you, snarling and barking. You can now smell this creature. And just the wet fur mixed with whatever is naturally sort of been on this thing. It smells like it's been in a cage in its own filth for like days, if not weeks.
Someone call the SPCA.
The knoll that was given the bow is just so excited. It runs as far as it can on its leash, just bang up against the edge limits of the leash, choking it. And without giving into that pressure on its neck, it's just like as it sights up with the longbow. And it's just firing something towards the
I can see why they got you back for the tour. That was incredible. That was.
I think so. It was making me think of my dog Griffin.
There we go.
When I take him for a walk, he is like pulling on the leash. Doesn't matter if he's getting choked or what.
This creature was sighting up the most obvious target, which is the man standing on a big rock, and has rolled a 12.
No.
No, also a miss.
Yeah, weak.
And seeing that it missed, it is like now reaching for its leash, like it drops the bow and reaches for the leash and is like tugging at it, trying to get free. The hobgoblin on the right, obviously seeing it's one of its previous knolls burnt to a crisp, slaps the knoll in front of it and points over to the edge and just drops the leash. And with ravenous speed, it just starts darting around the edges of the water where it's the most shallow. 40, 45, 50.
Ravenous speed.
It is just going as fast as it can along the edges of the waterway, dashing.
It's Naruto running over this.
Yeah.
Over these,
arms behind.
lily pads.
Yeah. But it's using its movement to dash, and so will not take an action. Biko, over to you.
All right, Biko's eyes are going to light up at that crispy, delicious deep fried knoll in front of him. He's like, whoa! And elects not to shoot another arrow at him, but then sees some movement rushing around by his mate Lovejoy. So he's going to sidestep in the bushes a little bit, aim for a gap in the rocks there, and twing! And the little arrow at his mate.
With the rocks, there's going to be a little bit of extra cover for them. So they're going to be in half cover, which is going to give their AC a boost of 2.
Whoa. Thankfully, Biko's going to roll very well on this one.
Okay, good.
For a total of 22.
That is a hit. That's absolutely a hit.
He's going to cash in his sneak attack damage since he's next to Lovejoy, and the arrow's going to maybe hit into his intestinal system on the way through into his muscles.
Wow, both muscles and intestinal system are damaged. A total of 6 piercing and 3 sneak attacks, so 9 total damage. And this thing howls out in pain and just tries to snap off, just kind of paws at it and just breaks the arrow, leaving it just the head of the arrow inside its intestinal system.
Yeah. Biko is not appreciating what this very angry creature looks like, so he's just going to duck down again into the foliage and nestle back down where he was.
Okay. Barris Barris was very excited to smash this knoll as it was making its way across the river. Now he sees that it is no more, just this burning sphere above the water with steam coming up off the surface of the
soup.
water. Yeah. Barris, feeling emboldened by this mushroom still, moves around the edge of the riverbed, and he sees two of these knolls now, and he's quickly does a little bit of spatial math to figure out, look, if I'm there, then I'm just going to be in the middle of the two, and runs towards the knoll at the back. He's going to lift up his warhammer with two hands and try and bring it down on this knoll. Oof, it's a roll of 7. That is definitely not a hit. It just he brings it down right where the knoll was standing, but the knoll just kind of shifts his weight, and the warhammer splashes down into the shallow water and slams down into some rocks next to the knoll, and it's leaving him face to face with one of these knolls, and the color just drains from his face. He thought that was going to be it.
Does it do any splash damage?
No splash damage. No. Lovejoy.
I've only really got one option, which is the knoll that's like nibbling at my heels, nibbling at my nuts. I will cast.
All right. I did say I was just going to say yes to whatever you say. So yep, he's doing that.
Yeah, but I hold out my hand and cast Ray of Frost down on him. Wumpfka for 15 total, 10 plus 5.
Roll of a 15 is a meets.
Ooh.
Yeah. Bush. And he takes... Why is that roll an extra one? That's strange.
Is it 1d8, is it? Or...
Yeah, it's just 1d8.
Yeah, I don't know why that rolled. But he takes 7 cold damage in his little knolly brain.
Right, you aim it you just put your hand right in front of his face and just shoot that ray of frost directly into his skull.
It was kind of like the Pope putting his hand out to kiss the Pope's ring.
Yeah. The ray of frost just
covers his face.
Covers his face in white. After nibbling on your nuts. He's not dead. He's not dead, but he has taken a lot of damage out, and he's lost a lot of that ferocity that he was showing before.
I'm gonna. I don't want to be so close to the. In the words of Sting, don't stand so close to me. I'm gonna clamber down off this rock and kind of go over here.
Oh.
And I'm gonna on my past. I'm gonna tell Gildan and Biko, "There's a knoll over the rock. There's a knoll over the rock." That's cool. My turn.
It is the goblin's turn. He makes his way towards the hobgoblins, and he's gesticulating about like pointing over towards where you guys know the ruins are, and he's pointing back towards up in the above you, sort of at the forest behind you, and the hobgoblin just smacks him with the back of his hand, just cracks him across the face, grabs him by the sort of tuft of armor that he's wearing over the front of his shoulder, and just pushes him back towards the river, barking orders and pointing at you. And so the goblin ends back sort of next to this knoll in the shallow water, and he's looking quite defeated and upset, and he just removes his scimitar from his side with a shaky hand and faces back in your direction.
Come back here. Come over this side.
No?
It's the hobgoblin's turn. One of the obviously the hobgoblin, that was its action. The second hobgoblin, having let his gnolls out. Who let the gnolls out? It was him.
That's a good intonation as well. The gnolls out.
Reaches for his longbow and sights up Barris, who is face to face with a gnoll, and rolls a crit success.
What? Who's getting the... Oh, he's shot with a bow and arrow.
With a longbow, yeah.
Longbow.
But it's deflected from his eye patch. Ding!
He rolled a crit success and a crit fail.
And a crit
You
fail.
can swap them. You're the DM.
So he's going to roll 2d8 instead of 1d8, plus 1.
He should have listened to you about that will, shouldn't he?
Yeah, well, I think he did. He said he was going to donate to the church.
That soars. What was that? Like 10 damage. Barris doesn't see this coming, and it just like lands right in the back of his leg, just popping straight through his knee, and he just drops down to one knee in front of this gnoll. He's alive, but he's taken a lot of damage.
So his kneecap popped off. Went through the back of his knee and into his kneecap.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. His patella pops off. Is replaced by an arrow.
He just
Like a Pringles cat.
yeah.
Yeah, like
The only thing other than searing pain in Barris's mind is maybe the 3 minutes has been over already. This mushroom may not have lasted as long as he was told. Gildan. But you can hear Gildan, you hear Barris scream out. You can still hear the sounds of these like gnolls barking and yelping, but you can hear Barris's scream cut through.
my God. Barris! I'm going to move my flame to that knoll that's still at the top.
Oh, yeah. With the goblin.
Yeah. Oh, but the goblin won't get hurt. He'll be okay.
Well, are you going to... do you want to aim it? Oh, as long as he doesn't end his turn in it. Right, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Right. Okay. So that knoll...
I'll save that goblin.
The knoll needs to do a dex save. Dex a 3. It is not a save.
Oh, so he takes 8 radiant damage, I think. The radiant damage is fire.
Was it?
Not that it matters, I suppose.
Oh, did you roll? Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. 8. Oh, yeah.
Fire damage.
Puts him down to that. So, yeah. Again, this flaming sphere moves across the water, leaving a trail of steam behind it, and moves over onto the knoll, and just parts of it just instantly ignite as it flails. But it does burn the leash as well. Just burns through the leash. This creature is now no longer leashed.
Well, I mean, technically he's wearing the leash, so it wouldn't burn it, but okay,
Oh,
that's
okay,
more
no,
dramatic.
that's...
No, it's still more dramatic.
Okay, all right. Does it not burn things that they're wearing?
If they're worn or carried, they don't burn. Otherwise, you could just burn off people's clothes, I suppose.
Well, we can say that the collar hasn't burnt, but the leash has.
The leash did, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it burn all these... Does the forest catch fire over there?
The area of
Forest fire.
the grass and some of the plant life, but it's so close to the water's edge that it's not exactly like a big forest over there, right? It is just a little bit of plant life on the edge of the bank and grass. It's not something that's going to spread.
A grassy knoll.
No. Anything else from Gildan?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I am... sorry. Just making sure that what I was about to say is not terrible. Well, it might still be terrible. I'm going to clamber over these rocks and then go between the two knolls and right to within 5 feet of Barris.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, "Are you okay, Barris?"
And he's,
looking at his horrible knee.
yeah. He just looks up at you. He looks up at you. He does not look like he's okay. There's tears in his eyes.
Chew that mushroom. Chew. Just think about the will.
Guy.
Don't chew it.
He dropped his nuts the minute he bloody.
I'm going to cast Word of Radiance.
Oh.
Set him on fire.
But it's creatures with, next to me that I choose. So I don't choose to ignite Barris.
Oh, okay. Each creature of your choice that you can see within range and 5-foot range. Okay, cool. Must make a Constitution saving throw. So we'll get a Constitution saving throw for the one next to Barris first, which is an 18.
No, success.
And one for the one behind you is a 14.
Another success.
Do they take any damage from a...
No,
they
I
don't.
don't think so, no.
Okay.
It's just a cantrip.
What is the word that you utter?
Pelaw!
Of course. You say there's like this beam of like radiant light just powers out from you, but it just doesn't seem to do anything, unfortunately. Other than make you feel good. I think it makes you feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the idea that Barros would be so anti-magic that he'd be like, "No, I refuse any magical effects near me.
Don't heal me.
Barristel would not approve."
It's just a knee. Okay.
It is the Gnoll's turns. The one that has had its leash burnt starts just running around the edge. I think he's just going to do his normal speed and take no further actions there. The Gnoll next to you, Gildan.
Noel Leeming.
Yeah.
That's the one.
He, after hearing you shout out Pelor, Noel Leeming just turns and launches at you with its fangs beard, rolling a 22.
It was attacking me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to call upon Pelor here
Okay.
and use... Where's the thing? Warding Flare. So he gets disadvantage.
How does Warding Flare work?
When you are attacked by a creature that can be blinded within 30 feet that you can see, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll.
Okay,
You can do
nice.
it 3 times per long rest.
Perfect. This Gnoll is instantly blinded because it rolled a 1, nat 1, for its disadvantage. It still continues its bite to where it thinks you are and just brings its snapping jaws down on the rock next to it, shattering its teeth, shattering parts of its skull, and taking the last of its life down next to you. It only had 1 hit point left, and that was more than enough to...
It bit a rock and died.
So
That's
hard
right.
that it just like killed itself. Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah. It was gonna
Bad enough when you eat like a little bit of hard bread.
exactly like that. It's exactly like having some hard bread. Just kills you. Just kills you straight away.
Filling.
The Gnoll next to Barris, we're going to call him Noel Gallagher.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll thank Lyndon for that one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I ripped off the Noel Leeming from someone else in the chat too.
We're just going from the chat here. He has rolled a 16 with a bite towards Barris, and it just sinks down into Barris's forearm, just like tearing away at Barris's forearm. 1d4 plus 2.
God, this guy's smithed his last gate, hasn't he?
It does 3 damage, which is that's not so bad, all things considered.
Unless you're Barris.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got some health left. That's the good thing. That's the good news, is that he's got some.
He's our meat shield.
He's got some health left. But it is like just connected to his arm, like tugging and tearing at his arm.
A police dog.
Yeah, Biko.
All right. With Lovejoy's notification of some gnolls impending and the scream of Barris, he's gonna sort of leap forward out of his little hiding spot and see Barris on one knee and blood everywhere, and he's gonna draw up his bow and use his utmost focus and cash in his sweet inspiration from a few sessions ago where he made the cool Biko base and launch an arrow with the best of skill and phew!
Right.
And he's gonna roll a total of 15. Do I tell me how inspiration works again? /
You just get to do a second roll. Or you get to roll with advantage, basically.
Oh yeah, cool. Do I need to?
You have to make that decision before I tell you how it goes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, then I'll totally re-roll it. I'll be like, yeah, remember that time when I did that sweet thing? The second roll is terrible for a total of 9.
All right. Well, a 15 is enough. That is a meets beats. So that arrow soars past. Barris had like dropped down to one knee and he's having his arm torn apart by this gnoll, and this arrow just flies across and strikes him, doing 10 damage.
Yeah, 10 damage.
Okay, which is the first bit of damage this creature has received yet. Whereabouts were you aiming on the gnoll?
Right into this trigacadgum.
Direct hit.
The upper one.
Okay, yeah. Direct hit, and again, it doesn't remove its bite from Barris's arm. It just seems to like push down even more in pain.
Biko can't help but yell at Barris before he half slips over and manages to blend in the mud by his feet.
Okay, all right. It is Barris's turn, who has dropped his warhammer at his side with this arrow to the back of the knee and the arm being bitten by this thing. But because of the connection of this gnoll to his arm, is at a very good proximity now. It's going to be very hard to miss as he reaches for a small blade at his side. A little scimitar, small scimitar at Barris's side, and just like slashes out across. Hopefully, across. He's going to have advantage thanks to the current connection between the two, and rolls an 18.
Good man, Barris.
Doing 3 damage across this gnoll's chest, causing it to sort of back away from this from its prey, or release its bite. And he uses his action just to his movement just to get to his feet, but he's too scared to move back. Lovejoy.
Right, seeing how this is going fucking horribly for Barros, I'm going to take a big sigh, and then I'm going to take a run up over these rocks and launch myself at this gnoll.
What?
With my quarterstaff. And I'm going to use my Tides of Chaos. Once per long rest, you gain advantage on one attack roll. Now, there's something about wild magic with this as well. Before I regain use of the feature, the DM can have me roll on the wild magic surge table. After you cast a first level or higher spell, you then regain the use of this feature. So I'm going to use my Tides of Chaos to gain advantage. I'm going to attack him with my quarterstaff with advantage. Goodness.
Nice.
Oh, what have we got?
That is a critical hit.
Fantastic. Give us double dice plus your modifier.
That's a 5. And that's weird. Oh, right. I know why that's not done that. Yeah. And a 4.
So did you add your modifier onto that as well?
What do you mean my modifier? +2?
Yeah, well, your quarterstaff will have
so
a
D
so
so it's basically 8 + 4. So 12 bludgeoning damage on this knoll next to Barros. I kind of launch myself. I'm imagining myself coming flying over the rock with my quarterstaff and then just bringing the quarterstaff down like a table leg almost into its nose. I want to cave its nose in.
And it caves in. It just, like, with a sickening crack, the nose just caves in, and it lets out one final yelp before dropping dead to the ground in front of both you and Barris and Gildan. So can
Turn
you...
to Barros and say, "All right, you silly bastard," like with a cheeky look on my face.
He's got, like, he winces as he sort of looks down at this arrow sticking through his leg. I'm sure I'll be okay, thank you. Thank you so much. What could you just put into the chat what the description for that was? It Tides of War, was it?
Tides of Chaos.
Tides of Chaos.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like I need to possibly ruin things for you at some point.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Let me put that in the chat. Thanks for that. Oh, unrecognized command. Come back to me. Do me last.
Okay,
as they
all
say.
right. So nothing else from Lovejoy then?
No, that's it.
The goblin, it is the goblin's turn, and the goblin, having just taken some orders directly from the hobgoblin, is just wading slowly out into the water with a scimitar at his side. And he keeps looking back over his shoulder at the hobgoblins, who's snarling and pointing and shouting commands at him in Goblin. The hobgoblins are going to take their turn, and the one who fired a shot into Barris is going to look across and take a shot towards Gildan now.
What?
Which is a roll of an 18.
Oh, that's my armor class.
So that's a meets beats then.
My armor class beast. What are you saying?
Not that. No, that's
No.
all right. So
And he's further than 30 feet away, isn't he?
he's got a long. How far away is he? He's
Yeah,
definitely further than
pretty
30 feet. Yeah,
45.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so he's going to do 1d8. 5 piercing damage. As the arrow meets its mark on Gildan. And the other one, he's already handed his spear to one of the gnolls, and he's handed his bow to the other. But the bow did get thrown to the ground as the gnoll ran off. And he too is going to pick up the longbow and send a shot, this time towards Lovejoy. With a roll of 22. It too hits the mark, unless you've got a reaction.
I don't.
Doing a total of 2 damage. Only 2.
What?
Ouch.
Oh no. And we're back.
Error.
Yeah, we're back with Gildan.
Oh, well, first of all, I'll move my flaming thing to the guy that just shot at me,
Okay.
and he'll have to do a dex check.
Let's just move.
13.
Let's just move that over.
That was a bit of a crap roll.
So what was a dex roll?
Yes.
That is a roll of 18. Does he take
Okay,
half
so-
or
Yeah, 2.5 damage.
2 damage?
Or does he roll? Roll it up. 3 damage. And I'm going to attempt to do a cantrip, just sacred flame on that knoll out in the water to northwest.
Sacred Flame. Yeah, give us a. Is it a roll?
So
Or?
do a Dex saving throw of 13.
Okay, and they have rolled a 9, which is a fail.
Okay. He only takes 3 damage, though.
3 damage. Okay. He tries to just dunk down into the water, to finds it's not deep enough, and just manages to take some damage from that. It is the Noel's turns now. There's just the one. Is that right? Yeah, there's just one left now. And he doesn't have a spear. He doesn't have any kind of weaponry, but he is absolutely ferocious. He just runs forward, leaps towards Barris with his
Barris,
jaws,
get out of there.
with his jaws open. Rolls a 14, which is more than enough to bite through his leather armor on his leg and through into his thigh.
Same leg?
It's the other leg now. He's really...
That's the other leg.
Yeah. It bites down and pulls back, and just like an arc of blood just like squirts up out of Barris's thigh, and Barris just goes pale. Barris just goes pale, drops down to the ground, and like is now in a dying state.
No.
And that's where we're going to end tonight. We'll end it there.
Timing. I have to jump pretty much
Yeah.
immediately. Sorry, fellas,
No,
but
that's all
that was fun. Well, not for Barros. But
He took a lot of hits.
I don't think Barris was expecting this when he signed up for this journey.
He ran right out the front immediately.
He got given a
gents.
reason to think
We'll
he was
see, Adam.
invincible. See ya, Adam.
If only he had sucked on it for 8 hours first.
Read the
silly
prescription.
Yeah.
Suck for 8 hours.
And you'll get
morning.
3 minutes of invincibility, maybe.
That's right.
That'd be pretty good, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really have to time that.
You're not sure
starting.
when that 3 minutes kicks in either. It's just at some point after that 8 hours. So
Yeah. You have to have like
8%
8
of
hours
the
of
time it was
solid
sitting.
sucking as well, which
yeah,
means
you
I
can't
think
afford to stop.
if you stop for a minute, then you got to start again.
Yeah. And the mushroom, it doesn't normally last 8 hours if you suck it real like.
Yeah. Good session, guys. That was good.
Yeah. That's full on.
Yeah. I was like, it's really. Normally, when it comes to like obviously Lost Mine and Curse of Strahd, I've really just relied on what was created by the book to know what is the right amount of stuff to put into a combat round. So this has been fun to like experiment and have a bit of fun of just trying something new. I think it's going pretty well. You guys
Are
are
you
doing
using
really well.
those CR ratings and stuff?
Yeah. And using like D&D Beyond's sort of they've got like a combat creator, so I can use the characters that you guys have in D&D Beyond and say use these characters, and then throw at these enemies, and it'll tell me whether it's like an easy, medium, difficult, insane.
TPK.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's been fun. It's been real fun.
I like this map
Oh,
as well.
Very good.
The maps I've been able to find for this has just been so good. I was searching around for some good ruins today as well, because I wasn't sure if you'd get to the ruins or not. I think the combat has taken up a good chunk, which is like a good amount of time, and so I'm definitely hoping you get to the ruins next week. That'd be cool. I've got to do some prep for what.
Only 3 more enemies and a friend.
yeah, one goblin friend who is very injured and very reluctant to head back to you guys.
Poor guy. Bad luck.
Yeah, I
like
actually
he's
feel
gonna-
bad for him as well, to be honest.
Smells like he's going to turn coat on the hobgoblins, right?
Maybe.
He's gonna
Yeah.
start a small goblin revolution.
Yeah. I had in my notes that the hobgoblins may even stop goblins from retreating. So it wasn't a certainty. I was trying to figure out whether or not it would happen or not. And I just think, yeah, I think you guys deserve to have one weird little guy splashing around in the stream at the end of the session.
Just bleeding.
He's still bleeding. He's not well, that poor guy. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for playing, guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
It was very fun. And thanks to anyone who watched. I don't know if everyone's. I don't know if anyone's watching. I hope they're watching. I hope they're still watching. I did notice, just to make sure our stream is always improving, I did forget to put the map up for a big chunk of a session after our break. So, it might have been quite hard to follow along with some of the stuff we were doing.
There's a lot to think about, isn't there? If you're it's bad enough doing DMing, and then you got like the streaming part.
Yeah. And so I one thing I need to remember, I'll have to make a note of this, is I need to remember that next time Adam casts a spell, it's the wild magic charm table. Which is very
Wild
cool.
Lovejoy. That's how you remember it.
Should we just do a quick roll just to see what? Because I was excited for a minute. I thought I could just make him do it, but he does have to do like a spell instead of rolling.
Is it before his next long rest?
Yeah.
So right,
but we'll just
the team can hit the wild magic roll immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell, so you can kick it in straight away, right?
Yeah. But I thought I could just do it just now. Like I thought I could just randomly make one. I thought that'd be a fun way to end the session, is just by being able to being like, oh, roll from the thing. But I think Barris ending up.
Adam comes back and his character's dead. Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. Had you
rolled that?
Or maybe it's going to be a crossover, like Barris turns into a monkey or something.
There we go. I'm going to roll from the wild magic table just to see if we had.
His mind goes into that goblins. The mind and the goblin and him swap brains.
That would be awesome. It was a good roll actually. If I had have made him do wild magic, but
what is it?
I rolled a 0, which is
you gain 0 on a D6. How do you do that?
Wow.
It was you gain resistance to all damage for the next minute. That would have been perfect.
Whoa.
Oh well.
He had the mushroom.
Barris is he's scooping it out of Barris's dead mouth, just putting it into his own.
Now this is how you suck a mushroom, Barris. Now what? Okay, 8 hours of sucking in 1 minute.
Yes, the pounds per square inch of suck that you need to master.
Right? If you are in the chat, here's a link to our Discord. Come say hi, and here's all of our other sessions over on YouTube. Please check them out, and you can get our podcast if you like podcast. Do I have a? No, I don't have a code for that, but anyway, you get podcasts. Thanks for watching.
We're all
everyone.
fine. Podcasts sold.
Yeah, and thanks again, team. That was a great session.
Thank you, team.
All right, have a good one.
Ciao.
Bye bye.